Right, we are live, everybody. We are live. It is Sunday. It is It 1990 versus It 2017, and I've debated to do this video because of one reason why. I did not see the second half of the Bill Skarsgård It, which is It Chapter 2, but I did see the first part of it in theater back in 2017. So we're gonna go on my basis of that versus the 1990 version. So we are going to have a lot of fun with this live stream here today. And I got my cold bottle of water to do it. And I got my little thing right here, which I've been doing French, trying to squeeze that into the schedule here for me for what I'm doing. So, It versus It. Couple things I want to say. This is the start of the verse series again. I haven't done a verse series in at least a couple weeks to a month now, and what a fresh start. Pennywise, Tim Curry versus Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. To be honest, we got a lot of mixed fans here, and that's okay because people like different versions of the character, right? Okay, so it's almost like Freddy Krueger, when he had Jackie Earle Haley take on the role of Freddy in the 2010 remake. You're not going to be able to replace Robert Englund. That's an honest to God fact, and I'm still trying to work on this whole motion thing. That's why it zoomed in. But to me, seeing It 2017 or It Chapter 1 with Bill Skarsgård, the look of Pennywise is different from what you got in 1990. The way Bill Skarsgård performed the scene right before he ends up attacking Georgie was a very different take. To me, it really wasn't that scary. I think the scariest part of that scene was when you actually see him bite Georgie's arm off, because you did not see it in the 1990 version because that was made for TV. But I think it's really scary when you don't see the damage or the killing at all, But when it's described by, I think it was Eddie, young Eddie, that his arm was like ripped off. That's more terrifying than just seeing it. Okay, so we get to the point here. And I think a lot of people are probably going to know which one's my favorite by the end of this video or during this video. The casting for It 1990, you had a lot of great stars from the 80s and stuff like that. You had the late John Ritter, the late Harry Anderson, Tim Reed, Annette Superman 3, and then later on she became Superman's mother in or aunt, I believe, in Smallville. That actress is really, really great. I just love her as the adult Beverly Marsh in 1990. You also get Richard Thomas from the Waltons, adult Bill Denbrough. I love the younger version of Bill, which was played by the late Jonathan Brandis. Very sad story what happened to him. He in 2003, Jonathan Brandis ended up committing suicide, which is very, very sad. The documentary is really, really great too, because I know Brandon Crane, who plays the young Ben Hascom, mentioned that too. It's just very sad what happened to Jonathan Brandis. And thinking of that, we do have the It documentary. It's a great piece to go along with this as well. So that is so cool. I actually got the Blu-ray of it as well. So that's really, really awesome. This is definitely worth a watch. It's 126 minutes. So definitely something I would recommend. I know it's been free on Fandango, which used to be Vudu. So give it a try. If you guys can pick it up. Definitely a good watch. I might watch it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe later on tonight or something. We'll have to wait and see. But even God, what is his name? Dennis Christopher, who plays the adult Eddie. really, really cool. I know he had been at, he was supposed to be, I think, at Days of the Dead a couple of years ago here in Chicago. He ended up canceling out. So we were supposed to have Emily Perkins, too, who played the young Beverly Marsh. She was supposed to be at one of the horror conventions here in Chicago, but she ended up canceling out. So it's been bad luck trying to meet cast from the 1990 miniseries. But going back with the whole thing here, I'm trying to think who else. I love Marlon Taylor too as the young Mike Hanlon. There have been two favorite characters of mine in the 1990 version, and it's been Mike. I loved his backstory, like when he came to Derry as a kid, and he's standing up there showing off like a photo album that he has and stuff like that. And he's the only one that's African American out of the group. He ends up becoming part of the Lucky Seven. But the other character I would probably have to say would be my favorite would probably have to be Beverly Marsh, because she's the only girl of the group. So I thought that was really, really cool. And if you had to pick a third one, it'd probably be Ben Hanscom, which is another one of my favorites. So basically, I got three favorites out of the Lucky Seven there. So it's Beverly, Mike, and Ben. Now they did so well. Like even when you go to the 2017 version of it, I'm not really familiar with a lot of the real young actors, but I know the one kid. I think he plays Eddie. I'm not really sure. I could be wrong, but I know he was in the Shazam movies, the two Shazam movies that we've had. He did a really good job. I think the young girl that played Beverly Marsh was great. I think the young kid that played the young Ben was great. I couldn't quite figure out what was up with the mother, the one with the glasses and stuff. I couldn't figure out what was up with her at all. That was supposed to be Eddie's mom. A different take on her from the 1990 version, but I mean, it is what it is. I thought it was just really, really tripped out, really, really, screwed up if you ask me. But they say that the 2017 movie, which is in two parts, goes more by the book, which is probably true. I've never read Stephen King's It. I've never read that because it's so long, but I'm just going on by what I've seen with the first half of the new film versus the 1990 miniseries, which I grew up on. So, let's see, I'm trying to think who I'm forgetting. I think all the kids were great in that. Again, it wasn't set in the 50s or 60s like the 1990 miniseries was, because there was one scene where they run past a theater and Nightmare 5, I believe it is Nightmare 5, The Dream Child, is playing in the theater, which I thought was really cool. Of course, that movie was terrible. I mean, it's trash, but it is what it is, But the whole story with the kids are different. Like Mike Hanlon basically is working in a slaughterhouse, and he's happened to kill cattle with like a gun where he points at the head and stuff like that. Because we didn't get that in the 1990 version, right? Now, as far as the adult versions of the 2017 film, I did not get to see any of that. I know James McAvoy plays the adult Bill Denbrough. I know, what's her name? Jessica. I think it's Jessica Chastain who plays the adult Beverly Marsh. And I don't know who the hell the other actors were that played the adult versions of the other kids, but they seem like they were okay. But I've heard that the second half of that version is about almost 3 hours long, maybe. But when you take on a take like Stephen King's It and adapt it into an actual film in two parts versus the miniseries, which was just made for TV, you're gonna be able to show graphic stuff versus it being on television. Because on television, you can't put graphic stuff on television. As far as graphic stuff being in the 1990 version, it would have to be basically, Pennywise with those real evil looking eyes, the razor sharp teeth, that kind of stuff. I mean, you could show when they're at the Chinese restaurant. I think it was was it? I forgot who it was that cracked open their fortune cookie, and here's a bird that just was like barely even alive, and squealing and squealing, and it got an eyeball looking out of one. There's a cockroach that came out of one, and just the whole 9 yards, you know. Now, I heard in the book that when they face it for the final time as adults, it's a giant turtle. In the 1990 version, it's like a giant spider. Okay. I'm trying to find my water here. Now, I don't know what the version of it was in part 2 of the Bill Skarsgård version of it, but it was pretty interesting. I mean, just that movie in general, the Bill Skarsgård stuff. But let's talk about, let's go ahead and move on to Pennywise's physical appearance. Which do you prefer? The one, because I got the thumbnail of both of them up here. Do you prefer the Bill Skarsgård version of Pennywise, what he looks like, or do you prefer the Tim Curry version? I like the Tim Curry version. That's my all-time favorite. Again, I mean, I grew up watching that stuff when it was on TV. You know, I mean, I mentioned before I was born in the 80s, so it's obvious. But I think there's nothing more scared than having a clown. And I was always afraid of clowns too when I was a kid. So because you just never know who the hell is who underneath all that makeup and shit. But it is what it is. You know, growing up, because I'm from the Chicagoland area, I lived like an hour away from Chicago. We had Bozo the Clown, the show that they had, and stuff like that. If you guys are familiar with Chicago, or if you guys are living in Chicago who are watching my live streams here, you'll know who Bozo the Clown is and stuff like that. They kind of took Pennywise and made him look like that almost a little bit, not very much, because Bozo had the hair that would go out like this, you know, or Pennywise had the hair, which is basically basically like that right there. It does kind of come out. It does look kind of like Bozo the Clown's hair a little bit right there, but that's just pretty much it. I don't know why the heck I showed you that, because the picture of Tim Curry's Pennywise is actually on the thumbnail of this video, but who cares, it's all in good fun. But, when you look at when the kids battle it versus both of these films, 1990, 2017, which one do I prefer the most? I still prefer the 1990. Nothing against the 2017. I thought it was cool. I thought it was epic. I loved it. I loved how when I believe the Deadlights, when I think it was Beverly Marsh looked into the Deadlights and she was like in a trance. You had that same effect in the 1990 version, but I think it was done better in the 1990 version. So Face to Ace, I hope you're doing great. Happy Sunday to you. Do you get an out and about video that you usually do? Because don't you usually do those on a Sunday? I'm looking forward to seeing that. So when you look into the Deadlights of it, Pennywise, or whatever incarnation it is, you're hypnotized. You're in a trance, and that's what Beverly Marsh was like in the 2017 version, because I remember that when they were down. And I haven't seen the movie, and I got it here on. I got the first part of it here on Fandango. I have not seen it since it came out, since it was in theaters back in 2017. But I remember a couple of them were in a trance, and I know Beverly Marsh was like floating in the air in the 2017 version. But when you look at a 1990 version, the spider lifts up his whole stomach. It's like lights, deadlights, shooting out. I forgot who it catches first. I believe it was maybe not Harry Anderson. Harry Anderson's character of Richie Tozier, I think, was the one that got caught first in the trance, and then it was Ben. I might have gotten them in all the orders mixed up, but it was Richie, Ben, and Bill that were all caught in its Deadlights, and then the only two that weren't caught into it were Eddie and Beverly. So Eddie does die. He ends up having a heart attack because the spider grabs him and he's just screaming like a freaking maniac, which it is scary. I mean, look at that thing. It's like you're looking at this thing and this thing is huge and it's got hands and it picks you up. I'd be screaming like hell. What's going to happen? Is it going to eat me or what's it going to do? So I never got a chance to see the second half of It Chapter 2. I never got to saw that half of that from 2017, but there'd be something I might have to look up on YouTube just to see what the final battle was like, because I know I don't. Is it Hulu that's got Welcome to Derry, or is it Netflix? It's Welcome to Derry. I'm not going to be able to see that, but anybody that knows when it does come out, let me know how that is, because I'd love to hear the stories and stuff. I'm pretty sure I'll be hearing a lot of YouTubers do reviews on it. But anyways, to me, Tommy Lee Wallace, who directed the 1990 version, did an awesome job. What he had to do, I think it was great. We all know him from Halloween. We all know him, working with John Carpenter and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, guys, I have to draw a line. And I know this video ain't going to be an hour, but I have to draw a line right here. Right now, which one is the best between the two? Even though I did not see the second half of 2017's version, I have to say It from 1990 is my favorite out of both of them. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I remember watching this as a kid. A lot of fun. The characters, I knew the actors, most of the kids. The adults I kind of knew more of. You had Richard Thomas, John Ritter. You had Annette O'Toole, Richard Macer. He's been in quite a few films like The Thing. He was in, God, what was that movie he was in? I think it was License to Drive with both Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. He was also in, I believe it was it Risky Business with Tom Cruise and Rebecca De Mornay. I believe he was in that. He's been in a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean a lot of notable actors and actresses in that film. And of course the legendary Tim Curry. You know him from Clue. He was also in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was in, I believe, the second Scary Movie 2. But I love him in Clue. Clue is a blast. If you haven't seen Clue, see it, because he is hysterical in that. It is so funny with him and that man. Just a great actor. I just feel real bad, with his health, what's happening, because he's basically confined to a wheelchair right now, and it's a shame, it's we get older, things happen to us and stuff like that. But another thing I like about It 1990 is the music by Richard Bellis. Very great music, great score that he came up with. I love it. You can listen to the whole thing here on YouTube, which I do from time to time, and it is epic. Especially the whole carnival theme music that he had, dun 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 dun, something like that. It's just great stuff. The music for the 2017 version, I don't remember it very much because I only seen the film when it was back in 2017 in theater. So I haven't seen it since. But when I think of it, I think of the Richard Bellis score. Richard Thomas, Annette O'Toole, John Ritter, Richard Macer, Dennis Christopher, even the late, and I forgot to mention her already, the late Olivia Hussey. She did this film the same year as Psycho 4: The Beginning. She was Norma Bates in that, Norman's mother. She did a phenomenal job in that role too. I mean, no offense to Vera Farmiga, but there's only one person I know that can actually do the role of Norma Bates, and that's been Olivia Hussey. So yeah, God rest her soul too, man. I think she passed away last year. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got. Where I stand at it right now, it is It from 1990 takes the win for me. It is the best version. I mean, you don't need to have all the gore. I think it's more scary when they describe what had happened instead of showing it. We do get a lot of that with with some films, like with particularly like Friday the 13th. Some of the kills in the original film were never shown on screen, they were off screen, but you did see the aftermath, but you didn't see it in action happening, like with the whole Brenda kill in part one. You didn't see her getting killed, but you saw the aftermath of what the killer did to her, or Mrs. Voorhees. If you guys have not seen the movie, that's okay too. But the movie's been out for like 45 years already. But yeah, I think it's a lot more scarier when you don't see the act of these kids getting murdered. I think it's more scarier that way. Like in the beginning when little Lorianne, Pennywise gets her. You see the mother look or by the clothes hanger thing, and she screams, but you don't see Lorianne's body. But even like on the TV screen when the adult versions are leaving to go get out of the inn or the hotel, adult Richie turns on the TV and it's a news anchor saying that I forgot what the little girl's name was. Her body was so badly mutilated and stuff like that. It's the way that they describe like the mutilation of the body is more terrifying than actually seeing it. So I think you can do horror films for TV. You can do horror films without having to have all the gore, but you can describe what had happened without even seeing it, which I think is more and more scarier. It's been done many times before. It's very, very effective. To me, it's very, very effective. But yeah, with further ado, It 1990 takes the win for me. Let me know in the chat or in the comment section below, which is your favorite version of it. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because I got some really more cool stuff coming from. We're doing a mix of things, gaming, horror, other film genres a little bit here and there on the channel. I just do this stuff for fun, and hey, it is what it is. And my name's Oracle. Thanks for checking me out. See you guys back in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend.